and welcome to MorningFile. I'm your host, Emma McCarty, and today I am joined with Jeff Anders, partner at Aeon Studio Group, to talk about the opening of Hamilton's first soundstage happening on February 1st. So to start, do you want to just maybe get into the basics a bit and explain what a soundstage actually is?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much for having me. So a soundstage is, I guess, a big open room. It could be small or extremely large. And the characteristics of that kind of room are basically to limit any sound or noise from outside the room, limit any vibration. Usually it has a sort of clear span, which means no pillars in the middle obstructing the space. And depending on the use, higher ceilings tend to be really valued. And so, with respect to the particular soundstage that we're talking about here, we're opening a studio that is catering to bigger television and film productions, and so they're looking for really big space with really high ceilings. And I'll let you ask the rest of the question.
Yeah. So you said that you're catering to like television production, that type of thing within Hamilton. What was the decision to place a soundstage within Hamilton? Where was the need there?
Well, Hamilton has become the third largest cluster of film production activity in Canada.
Oh, wow.
Now, Canada on its own has become a real center for TV and film production. The numbers are really impressive just around how much that industry has grown, say, in the last 10 years. And Ontario is right up there with British Columbia, kind of sharing the vast majority of that activity. Now, Hamilton has become a real center for on-location filming. So whereas, productions need to film inside a building where they can build sets and those sorts of things, they also like to venture outside the studio to get that kind of real world feeling. And when they can't build, it doesn't make sense to build sets to sort of replicate those things. So they'll want to film in, schools or malls or church or, factory, all kinds of forest. And so essentially Hamilton has become a real place for that on-location filming by virtue of the richer tax credits that are offered by the government for productions that film outside of the core Toronto zone in the province. And Hamilton is just a great place to film in because of the fact that it has just an amazing creative workforce. I think there are 9,000 people employed in the sector in the city of Hamilton today. And it's a great place to film.
Yeah, awesome. So like you mentioned, there is a bunch, well, not a bunch, but there's studios around the GTA. How will this differ or compare to those studios?
So the first thing is it's in the city of Hamilton, right? So this is the very first soundstage or studio facility of real scale and quality in the city of Hamilton. Despite all that filming activity that's being done on location, right now there isn't a soundstage, or there isn't a big studio facility in Hamilton today. So that's a pretty big difference. But the fact is there are more than 100 stages, sound stages across the province of Ontario, and only 5 of them, say 5, 6, 7 of them have the scale, the size, and ceiling height that our stage in Hamilton will have, which makes it really kind of one of very, very few. And if you add in the fact that it has significant outdoor space, it has about 4 acres of outdoor space, which is very important for parking trucks and backlot, building things outside, filming outside. So for productions that need significant space indoors and significant space outdoors, this is one of very, very few options for them. And now a new option in the province. It happens to be in Hamilton.
Yeah, that sounds great. So you mentioned 9,000 people within the Hamilton area work in this industry. How do you think that putting a soundstage within Hamilton will benefit the Hamilton community as a whole?
I think significantly. So, there could be 100 people working in that building on any given day, maybe more. So that's daily job opportunities for people. But, there's a whole bunch of other economic activity that is generated by these productions. So they need to hire, caterers to feed the people. There are hotel rooms that are needed to house and sort of housing for the people who are working there too, coming in on a short-term basis. There's equipment rental and things like that. Plus, our company, Aeon Studio Group, has also launched a location representation service, which means if someone in the Hamilton area owns a home and they want to offer it up for rent for use in TV and film production, well, that's something that we can help to arrange for them. So there's that kind of economic activity that is being developed. But pulling up to really the 50,000-foot view, I think this is a type of job, right? It's creative industry, it's knowledge economy. It's not your average. It's not what people think of the economy of Hamilton historically. And so there's a bit of a renewal or a revitalization and sort of an evolution of that workforce. But what's interesting too is that the film industry really needs all different sorts of employment. So people think about sort of the actors as like the thing you see most regularly, and it's what immediately jumps to mind. Maybe a director who's running the show, but there are, again, 100 or more other people who are carpenters and electricians and hair and makeup and everything, really, accountants, and every single type of job. And so we see ourselves as being able to bring economic development basically across so many different swaths of the economy.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually an interesting point that you mentioned about the view of Hamilton. And I feel like, but often people think like Steel City, but it's really making a big shift into the arts and culture sector. And I think that this will help solidify that even more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one thing you did mention that I wanted to bring up, just because I thought it was interesting, was the launch of your location representative service. I found that really interesting and just kind of wanted to know how that worked a little more.
Oh, sure. So essentially the way that works is our objective at the Aeon Studio Group is to essentially make filming in Hamilton as easy and turnkey as possible for productions that come and set up shop here. And so part of that is being able to say to them, hey, look, we've got a database of pre-vetted locations that could suit every need for productions. And so what essentially we're doing is we're going around and we're talking to people who put their hands up and say, hey, we're interested in this. If you're a homeowner or a building owner or, landowner or anything like that. And we're going to check them out, make sure that, hey, does it in fact suit the needs? Would it comply with the rules? Is there power? Those sorts of things. And then we're also pretty straightforward with the homeowner, say, about what the demands are of giving your home up for film. It's not, it's not super easy. There are requirements and you have to make it really, have to really work for the production. So we coach people on kind of how that works and assess the cost and value and really try to get to what the revenue generation opportunity would be for people who are interested in this. And it is significant, right? It's the productions pay for short-term use of great spaces, and they're happy to do that. So that's pretty much how it works. If somebody was interested, they would give us a call. You can go to our website, aeonstudiogroup.com, and click on the locations page and give us a shout. We'll come out and do a free consultation. Yeah,
when I was reading about it earlier, I thought it was just such a great service. I don't know, maybe 15 years ago now, when I was like 10 years old, I actually had, they filmed a movie in my house. And I know like the production team for that movie was just out location scouting, and they had to do a lot of the work themselves and just drive up and down the streets trying to find locations. So this makes it easy for both parties to just kind of like have services to look at that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It works for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. So then I guess my last question for you is, how has it been kind of creating this space and doing all of this within a pandemic and opening within a pandemic?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the film industry has adapted very quickly to the demands of the safety requirements of the pandemic, and the budgets that have been made available just for COVID-related activities within productions is astonishing. People get tested 3 times a day, 3 times a week, and it's very, very, very careful. But on the real estate side of things, we partnered with a local Hamilton group named Forge and Foster. And so from their perspective, they have the expertise and they have the local knowledge and local relationships to have been able to navigate the real estate side of this and the sort of building great places for communities despite the pandemic. And so without them, I think we would have had a much more difficult time. But in light of who our partners were, we were able to kind of put all the pieces in place despite the pandemic, and the industry has really adapted and is ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely all about adapting these days.
Certainly is.
So, well, thank you so much for joining me to talk about the soundstage. I'm excited to see what happens within Hamilton and what it does for everyone.
Thank you. We're very excited too. And if you want your house to be used to be filmed again, just let us know. We'll definitely bring HBO by to check it out and others.
That was Jeff Anders from Aeon Studio Group talking about Hamilton's first soundstage, which will be opening on February 1st, 2021. For more information, you can click the link below. As always, for more video content, you can visit cfmu.ca/videos.